This is Oklahoma's own News 9 in high definition.
Right now on 9.
I've seen a lot of tragedy. I've seen a lot of destruction, but this was the most heartbreaking thing I think I've ever seen.
Oklahoma reeling after a weekend of tragedy in Stillwater. 4 people killed, others fighting to survive and heal.
It's just a horrific event and one you're never prepared for. While
the suspect sits in jail on a $1 million bond, her family reveals more about her mental state.
I've done all I could do as a father. I didn't know where else to turn.
Good evening. Glad you're with us tonight. And right now, we can tell you a 5th victim injured when Adacia Chambers slammed into the OSU homecoming parade is not doing well. Already, 4 people have died, and Chambers is locked up on complaints of second-degree murder. As News 9's Jessica Holly reports tonight, Chambers is said to have had a history of mental trouble. Jess?
That's right, and the judge is allowing in this case to have a doctor perform a psychological evaluation on Chambers. Formal charges filed by the district attorney's office are being given a 10-day extension.
Something has happened. I don't know what. Because the night before she was fine.
But just as the Oklahoma State homecoming parade came to an end Saturday, investigators say Adacia Chambers ran a red light, went around a police barricade, then ran into the crowd. Chambers attorney Tony Coleman says alcohol was not a factor. He's requested a doctor to perform a full psychological evaluation on his client to determine if a mental illness can be diagnosed.
I said, listen, you are aware that 4 people have been killed, and her response, her look on the face was just blank.
This afternoon, a doctor began one of several visits with Chambers. Her father admits to taking her to a mental hospital to seek treatment, but says she was quickly released.
I took her to another place when she got out of there, and I've done all I could do as a father. I didn't know where else to turn.
Chambers' defense attorney says it's too soon to comment on a defense strategy, but if Chambers pleads not guilty by reason of insanity, defense attorney Mac Martin says with that defense, it's often hard to convince a jury.
You have to admit, this is what I did, but I did it because I didn't understand, appreciate, and know the difference between right or wrong. You're dealing with horrible, horrible facts that nobody wants that person back out on the street.
Chambers' next scheduled court appearance is November 13th. Live in the newsroom, Jessica Holly, News 9.
All right, Jess. There is only one person that we know of at this point who had a camera rolling as the tragedy unfolded Saturday morning. 17-year-old Connor Gecko was visiting family in Stillwater. She spoke with News 9's Robin Marsh via FaceTime and said she was stunned by what she saw.
For every time I would think about it happening, it didn't feel like it really happened, and then I'd go back and watch the video, and it's that's something that people try to make in the movies. That's something that doesn't happen in real life.
By the way, Connor's video has been turned over to Stillwater Police. New tonight, we have learned Oklahoma City Mayor Mick Cornett has a personal connection to Saturday's tragedy. His niece is one of the 46 people who were hurt. She is still in the hospital right now. News 9's Steve Shaw is here with this story tonight. Steve?
Kelly, Mayor Cornett's niece, Kelly Murphy, was one of the critically injured when Stillwater police say Adacia Chambers plowed into that crowd. The mayor says today he's actually breathing a sigh of relief.
Kelly was struck from behind, just below the knee, and both of her legs were broken.
Mayor Mick Cornett says while his niece, Kelly Hal Murphy, was flown to a Tulsa hospital Saturday for emergency surgeries, today's a better day.
The doctors are optimistic that in a few months she's going to be okay, and so we're clinging to those words and asking for prayer.
Cornett says his niece lives in Stillwater and works in administration at OSU. He says his niece was handing out candy to the crowd, and her elementary-age daughter was riding on her school float nearby when the unthinkable occurred.
Just a horrific event and one you're never prepared for.
Thankfully, Kelly Murphy's daughter's school float was not hit by the car. Police say 25-year-old Adacia Chambers was driving.
We're grateful for the fact that that people seem to have a plan of action in place. I mean, the way they dispersed the critically injured to the best medical centers in the state, I think it gives me a little bit of reassurance that we do a very good job of reacting to very large-scale, unplanned emergencies.
Any thoughts about the person responsible?
No, not really.
Mayor Cornett says any judgments he makes about this tragedy will wait until the state, legal, and medical system sorts it out. Steve Shaw, News 9.
All right, Steve. News 9 storm tracker Val Castor was actually in the parade with his family Saturday when the crash happened. Today, he spent time visiting some of the victims hospitalized at Stillwater Medical Center. He continues our coverage.
I've seen a lot. You know, being a storm chaser for 25 years for Channel 9, I've seen devastation. I see what tornadoes do. I've seen a lot of tragedy. But I got to tell you, this was absolutely the worst thing I've seen. It was heartbreaking. But the scene today was one of recovery. I went to the hospital, Stillwater Medical Center, and visited with 2 of the victims, which, by the way, were recovering nicely at this point. They were very thankful just to be alive, and they were very thankful for all the quick response that from the rescue workers from Stillwater Medical Center. They had nothing but high things to say about them. The people of Oklahoma, I mean, they're just so good about pulling together. They're so unselfish. They drop what they're doing. They do what they can to help. Even after the fact, donations come in and offers for help come in. It's a great place to live.
OSU athletes and also Oklahoma City Thunder star Kevin Durant all took time out to visit OU Children's Hospital today. The family of 6-year-old Hadley Wyatt, who had some bleeding on her brain, posted this picture today. She's looking better, and tonight they tell us she has been discharged and is back home, so we're glad for Hadley. The crash claimed the lives of 4 people. They are 2-year-old Nash Lucas, whose mother works for OSU. Also, University of Central Oklahoma MBA student Nikita Nicole, and Bonnie and Marvin Stone, longtime members of the OSU family working for the university for decades. This event has changed the lives of so many people. One of the surviving victims is a woman from Oologah, the hometown of the suspect, Adesha Chambers. Her story still ahead, along with reaction from Chambers' boyfriend, what he says about the time he spent with her before the crash. By the way, tomorrow you can wear OSU orange in a showing of solidarity. A moment of silence will be held on the campus at OSU OKC, 10:30 tomorrow morning. We also have much more coverage of the OSU homecoming tragedy online at news9.com. Now, some other news tonight, tracking crime. A contraband care package carried by a drone crashes on the grounds of the state penitentiary in McAllister. The Department of Corrections says the package was filled with hacksaw blades, a phone, cigarettes, cigars, super glue, and drugs. It apparently hit the fence and was discovered by the staff there at Big Mac, the penitentiary in McAllister. 4 people arrested when law enforcement finds 34 pounds of marijuana and a gun in 2 separate cars. Oklahoma City Police and Highway Patrol pulled over 2 drivers they believed were traveling together from New Mexico. Police say they found several bundles of pot in one vehicle and a handgun in the other. News since 6 o'clock. Check this out. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics shared this photo today on Facebook. An agent found these 2 marijuana pipes on the ground in BRICKTOWN. So they posted it, and the post says if you'd like to claim them, you can call OBN at 1-800-522-8031. Indicted Tulsa County Sheriff Stanley Glanz will keep his gun and his badge upon his retirement. A group called We the People disagrees with the commissioner's decision, but the sheriff's office is standing up for Glanz.
It just reminds me of that saying from Seabiscuit, just because you lose a few races doesn't mean you throw your whole life away. Well, the same thing has happened here, I think, with him. You don't throw away 50 years of protecting us because of what's happened.
A grand jury indicted Glanz last month, asking for his resignation following a reserve deputy's accidental killing of a suspect. Happening now, a fugitive from North Carolina is now in jail in our state thanks to Canadian County Sheriff's deputies. They stopped Kevin Schuster for driving a stolen car. We're told Schuster is the primary suspect in a rape and kidnapping in North Carolina. New developments here. A judge will determine whether Alton Nolan is competent to stand trial for beheading a woman at the Vaughn Foods plant in Moore. A psychologist says Nolan wants to be executed and refuses to assist his attorneys with his defense. Prosecutors say Nolan's competency has never been questioned and shouldn't be now. Coming up next on News 9, a community torn by homecoming heartbreak. They pray for one of their own to heal from critical injuries and for the suspect who they watched grow up.
Folks, today it was beautiful across Oklahoma, completely dry, but hang on, our next big storm is still thousands of miles away, but it's headed directly towards Oklahoma. Will Halloween be wet? Your forecast coming up.
And Bedlam Brotherhood, my 2 cents coming up. Also, your chance to enter to win a free storm shelter is coming up after the break.
You're watching Oklahoma's own News 9 in high definition.
The community of Oologah is rallying around one of the victims of the OSU homecoming tragedy. Sherry Bates is in critical condition. She lives in the same town where the crash suspect grew up. And people who know both families tell News 9's Katira Winfrey it's heartbreak for everyone involved.
Never seen her.
Jesse Gaylord says he's known Adacia Chambers since high school. He says they were childhood sweethearts. He went to court with her today and says he doesn't believe she was under the influence of anything.
I know that there's no way she was drunk or impaired. Yeah, no drugs whatsoever. She just wasn't that type of person.
Gaylord says he started dating Chambers when they both went to Oologah High School. He says she's not the monster she's being made out to be.
She's one of the kindest, soft-spoken, caring people you'll ever meet.
Not only is Oologah Chambers' hometown, it's also where Sherry Bates, one of the victims, lives. She's still in critical condition.
I think first and foremost that we need to pray for all the families that are involved.
Steve Savage is the CEO of Lakeside State Bank. He works just down the hall from Bates. He says everyone is missing her warm personality. All day, customers have been asking how she's doing.
This morning, every customer that's come in has asked about Sherry. You know, everybody seems to know what's happened, and everybody's concerned.
He says it's a lot to take in, and in moments like this, it's best to just pray.
You have to allow enough time for the facts to come in and for people not to prejudge. It sounds like just a horrific accident. I think we should. You know, I think the voice of reason is let's find out what really happened here.
Katira Winfrey, News 9.
And now, my 2 cents with Kelly Ogle.
As one of 3 boys, I know a lot about brothers. And one thing I know for sure is that brothers want to beat each other. But I also know brothers have each other's back. And it's like that with OSU and OU too. When the unthinkable happened to the Cowboy family this weekend during the parade in Stillwater, the Sooner family rallied to their side. OU leaders expressed their sorrow and concern in person and on social media. At the OU Texas Tech game, the crowd of 90,000 in Norman fell silent out of respect to the victims of the accident. Then, in a touching show of support, the Pride of Oklahoma band carried an Oklahoma State University flag onto the field. And in another poignant moment yesterday, the OU choir broke from their planned homecoming program to pay tribute to their brothers and sisters in Stillwater by singing the OSU alma mater. Very classy and well done, Sooner Nation. I'm Kelly Ogle, and that's my 2 cents.
And now, your weather with Oklahoma's own David Page.
All right, Oklahoma looking good out there tonight. Nice and quiet across our state currently. And kind of give you an update here. The rain last week, it was good so far. This month in Oklahoma City, 1.52 inches of rain. Still well below normal by a lot. And so far this year, though, remember, think back to what we had last spring and this past summer. Yeah, we are still over a foot above normal on rainfall, even though the drought continues to kind of sneak back in. We put a dent in the drought last week, and we're going to put another dent in the drought a little bit later on, so hang on. Big storm in the southeast. This was Patricia. This is some of the energy from Patricia, and it's almost drifting due north tonight. It's kind of lifting to the north here. A lot of rain going on. There's been a lot of flooding. Texas, a lot of flood warnings still going on down there. Some places had over 20 inches of rain over the weekend, huh? How about that? But this is, again, drifting north. Could kick up a few showers tonight in eastern Oklahoma. Our next storm's in Colorado. It's a fast mover. That'll come out across Oklahoma tonight and tomorrow morning and give you folks in the northwest a slight chance for a sprinkle out of that. It's later down the week. It's just down the road just a bit when our next stronger storm will come on in. Air Comfort Skycam Network. Nice shot here from our American Fidelity camera looking off to the north. 56 degrees in Oklahoma City with a light northeast wind now at about 7 miles per hour. Our dew point is at 50, and that continues to slowly kind of hold its own, but it'll start to creep up a little bit more tomorrow. We already have some 40s in our state. And a lot of 50s. How about a 47 right now in Altus, 49 in Ponca City, 63 in Miami. Much warmer in eastern Oklahoma. Cloud cover over here beginning to thicken up. 46 in Alva and a 50 right now in Woodward. So tomorrow morning, not as cold as this morning. This morning, a lot of frost in the north and west, even a few places having their first light freeze this morning. Storm system for tonight in the morning. That's the first one. That's for, again, overnight tonight through tomorrow morning. The next one comes out for tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. That'll be that one. That's stronger. That'll shove a front through here. And then our next storm, watch it take shape. So the storm to our east finally pulls on out. All right. Here comes the next one. This storm now is over the Pacific. It gets here Thursday night, overnight into Friday. Friday right now looks very wet. And then it's going to kind of hold back. That's the plan. We get a break in the rain. Cross your fingers. On Saturday, slight chance for showers on Saturday, which, of course, is Halloween. And then the main storm comes out on Sunday with a chance for more rain, at least some scattered showers. And then the second storm for the middle of next week drops in, reloads, and here we go again. Rain back in here. It's a good pattern. Rainfall amounts, 1 to 2 inches out of the event on Friday. Some places might see a little more than that. Overnight tonight, lows in the 40s, 50s, a lot of 50s off in eastern Oklahoma, light northeast breeze. Showers way over here near the Arkansas border. A few showers in our northwestern counties. Highs tomorrow in the upper 60s to low 70s. Light winds. Tomorrow looks pretty good. South breeze will pick up a little bit in the afternoon, but not a big deal. And tomorrow, slight chance for showers in the north. Better chance in the far east. Tomorrow in Oklahoma City at 7 a.m., 49 degrees. By noon, a 63. And by 5 p.m., how about a 69? So really, tomorrow, not bad. Southwest breeze will pick up into the afternoon. There's that next little small storm system, 30% chance for showers Wednesday morning. Thursday, a high of 70. All right, so we're going to cool it off again a little bit Wednesday, warming back up Thursday. Look at Friday, 90% chance of rain on Friday. Sure looks wet. 1 to 2 inches of rain. Right now, Saturday, 20% chance for rain with a high of 66. Of course, Saturday is Halloween. And then Sunday, daylight saving time ends. Roll the clocks back. Middle of next week, next Wednesday, here comes that second big storm. We're tracking it. Kelly, back to you.
All right, David. Well, here you go. Here is your chance to win a flat, safe storm shelter. Text the word thunder to 79640. Thunder. You'll have another chance to win tomorrow on News 9 this morning. Coming up, Joe Mixon speaks publicly for the first time since arriving on campus at OU. Stick around for that. Sports is next.
Driven by your Oklahoma Ford dealers, this is News 9 Sports with Dean Blevins.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Midwest Sports Desk. Joe Mixon was interviewed for the first and apparently only time this season yesterday when he and Samaje Perine joined Bob Stoops and me on the coach's playback show. Stoops had not allowed any media access since Mixon's year-long suspension following a campus altercation last summer.
I'm asked a lot about how Joe interacts with his teammates and how exuberant he is, and I thought that's a great example to see how the two guys get along, Samaje and Joe, having them on together at the same time.
You ever have a conversation, who's blocking for who?
No.
We basically just tell each other, like, either follow me or it's going to be open right here or look for the cutback lane. Everything is slowing down for me. Basically just taking it 1 week at a time, and then from there on out, we just progress every week. We complement each other, like Coach Stu said, and, week to week, we just keep on building and getting better and feeding off of each other, and that's just what's going to keep happening.
201 yards and 4 touchdowns against Tech earns Pirine Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week. 50 OSU athletes, including some 15 football players, visited homecoming crash victims in hospitals today. On the field, the Cowboys head to Lubbock to take on a staggering Texas Tech club Saturday. The undefeated Pokes are led by an impressive combination in the backfield.
More often than not, teams who consistently switch quarterbacks within games tend to struggle. But at OSU, Mason Rudolph and J.W. Walsh share the load so far with a lot of success.
I've never been a fan of using 2 quarterbacks, but I am now. Nobody has said a word about why is J.W. on there, why is Mason in there. If it's the right players, it's working for us.
The pattern goes something like this. Rudolph finding receivers to get the Cowboys close before Walsh finishes off drives many times with his feet. One big reason it works, the sophomore and senior's maturity.
They both do a good job, and they just, they put out a sense of confidence for the offense.
Rudolph and Walsh have combined for 24 touchdowns this season, more than Cowboy quarterbacks accounted for all of last year. It's a formula OSU will rely on again this Saturday at Texas Tech. In Stillwater, I'm John Holcomb, News 9 Sports.
Thank you, John. Media day for OSU basketball in Stillwater. The Cowboys picked to finish 7th in the Big 12. Senior Phil Forte is the team leader. He says OSU may not have a star like Marcus Smart or LeBron Nash, but this year, this team chemistry is off the charts.
The group of guys that we have right now, really excited about. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that we have the most, talent, NBA-wise, on draft boards and stuff, but definitely the closest team that I've played on up to this point.
Thunder meeting with victims from this weekend's homecoming tragedy in Stillwater when we're back in a flash.
The Midwest Sports Desk is brought to you by Midwest Hose and Specialty, the quality you trust and the service you rely on. Midwest Hose, keeping the industry connected.
Earlier, we showed you Kevin Durant visiting one of the victims of the OSU homecoming tragedy. A group of Thunder players also met with affected families at OU Medical Center. Nick Collison, Andre Robertson, Mitch McGarry, Cameron Payne, and Anthony Morrow trying to help ease the pain.
That's something I definitely, wanted to do since it happened Saturday. So I'm just going to continue to pray for him. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to come up here and shake some hands.
I was in Norman most of the day, and all the flags I saw were at half-staff all around town. And
really good people.
Yeah.
Good people all across the state, been very supportive.
Absolutely.
You bet. All right. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.